Hey guys, I'm Becca, and today I'm going to be drawing Scarlett Witch. This is my first time recording and drawing, so I'm a bit weirded out about this, especially since drawing these videos take a lot of time, and for me it's always it's not time consuming, but it's actually really something I like to do to calm down and just have a little relaxation. And I like to draw, especially when I'm stressed, so it just makes me a bit happier, and I don't have to worry so much about everything else. But either way, if you guys want to know, I like starting from the eyes and I mostly color from the left to the right, especially because I'm right-handed and it won't smudge the drawing and the colors as much. I do color in circular motions due to the fact that it will blend the colors nicely, and I only like to burnish my colors after I'm sure, especially in a certain area, especially when I'm sure, then I'll go in and I'll burnish the area that I liked. Especially for this eye, I took a little bit of my time, and especially for this part of the cheeks that I'm coloring, I took in deep because it was a bit darker. This part of her face was a bit darker, so I'd like to get into it, so afterwards I know exactly how I'll do the rest of her skin. And I took a bit of time doing this because it was something very calm and very patient, especially because she has really light skin, so I like to take my time so I don't do anything wrong, I don't get the color wrong, because since we're coloring and in color pencils, we're drawing in color pencils technically, it could get a bit weird if I got it wrong. I could erase a couple of mistakes, but if I burnish too soon, especially, I could ruin the drawing and just have to start all over again, which that has happened, but not with this drawing, thank goodness. As you can see, I've done a lot already, especially I have been moving into the right side of her face now, because it gets easier and better for me since, like I said, I'm right-handed. So if you're left-handed, I would suggest you start from right to left, and if you're right-handed, you start from left to right, so you get an even flow and it'll just be easier for you, and you just take your time, because when you're coloring in realistically, you have to take your time. You can't rush it, especially if you're new to this, and I have an entire journey. I want to go extremely photorealistic, so ultra photo, so I really take my time so I can get everything right, especially if you draw and if you want to take something very serious, you end up getting a bit you do end up becoming a bit of a perfectionist, especially if you really like what you do. And I like to take my time to draw because, unfortunately, every artist does judge their artwork, and even I do. So I normally, if I don't like something, I won't show it. And so I decided to make those just normal and fun so nobody dies. Especially me when I was doing this, because it took me so long, but it was so nice because at the same time I was drawing, I was also watching movies and I was having a lot of fun, so it kind of took my mind off problems and everything, especially because I'm in Brazil and COVID here is not going well. So this really just made everything like super fun and super easy. And if you guys would like to know more, just like comment down below and I'll like gladly help you guys or give you guys any advice. I have burnished the skin, and now I'm actually going into the lips because it's one of my favorite parts to do is coloring in the eyes. I just love it, and coloring in the mouth. I just love like drawing the mouth, and I have become like obsessed with drawing teeth because drawing teeth on a like any character, even if it's an original character, it's something really hard to do because you can't make it too white and you can't make it too dark. Okay, I know the video like jumped into something made. It was because when I was coloring in, I thought I had the camera on, and then when I looked, it was off. And yes, I did cry a river, but I was like, no, I'm just gonna post it and I'll explain to them how I cried myself to sleep knowing that there's like this like an hour of me coloring and not filmed. But I know you guys will forgive me for this. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. I'm moving on to her in massive tiara. It ate up all of my red. I need to buy new red now. And if you guys want to know, I am using Faber Castell. I'm also using Faber Castell Polychromos because they're the permanent ones and I really like them, but I use mostly, for now, I'm mostly using their normal ones that you normally get at the store, and Polychromos I normally use for skin texture because I like the skin to pop, so I mix it up with the normal pencils, and then to make it like more poppy I mix both of them together, and it actually makes a really nice even color. And I use the Polychromos white to burnish down her skin. So since her skin is like really white, I'll put in like a bit of pink to in the like the rosy side of her cheeks, like a color. I'll put a little like of umber red just to make it just really lightly, and afterwards I'll pass the white to burnish it down, and it will, if it's too dark, the white will just make it like a bit paler and it will blend beautifully. One thing I have loved doing is coloring hair. It was one of the first things I learned how to draw, and when I decided to go into something a bit more difficult like drawing hair, like realistic hair, it was fun because I started learning how to do this digitally, and when I saw that I was actually really good at it, after a while I was like, you know, I might try this, like I actually want to try this on paper to see how it went. And at the first time it was a disaster. I will not lie, it was a disaster. Oh my god, it was just so bad. But practice makes perfect, and I'm still practicing and it's getting better and better. So I know it's not 100% on point, but I just love doing the hair, and especially in realistic tones, mostly you burnish the hair out, you already have the colors in, especially because there are a lot of darker tones, so you just color in the dark tones first, and then you draw it in, like you just color in with the lighter tone afterwards. And if you have like a little something to take out a bit of the highlights, and you can draw highlights on the hair as well, like I did. And it's just, I just love this whole process. It did take me a long time, as I said, to do this, but the hair was the part I liked most drawing because I had a lot of fun with it, because Her hair is very wavy, it's very all over the place, and it's something that I would totally do with my hair. And you know, Elizabeth Olsen is super pretty, she's so talented, so this was like really awesome to draw. And just like going in with the drawing, and then I'm like, there I am right now, I'm doing little highlights, taking a bit of the pigmentation of the color from the paper, and like very slowly to not damage the paper obviously, and giving in and putting in some of the highlights. I normally also go back a lot to fix some of the colors, fix something like if there's a white spot, because the more I go into the drawing, the more something takes even longer to do. And since this had a lot of red in it, I decided to do the skin first. Like I started from her face, and then I did the top part, and then I go down. Like before, I normally used to do like all the skin, and then I do the clothes, and then I do the hair. But I thought it was easier just to do like sections of it, so I could just be happy and not have a fit. Because if you simply just know how drawing is, you can definitely have a fit with this. And I just love mixing the colors, and I know you have to take your time while you're doing this, or else you might go a bit crazy. And I love taking my time doing this, just like getting into it, putting some bubblegum pink to make her skin a bit rosier, because even on the photo her skin was a bit rosier. So I just love doing that, and just playing around with the colors and making sure that everything is nicely and perfect so I can burnish it later. I'm continuing with her hair, because some of the sections of her hair do overlap into her skin area, so I decided to do that after I have done with her hair. Like there's some strands that go to her skin, so I decided to do that afterwards. I just really like drawing the hair, and it's actually really fun just to have like a bit of a moment and just relax and, you know, just go with it. The part that I most like about this drawing is her red outfit. I took a really long time. Unfortunately, the details that I made didn't pop out a lot on the photo. Now I've neither did it on video, but I did put like a little bit of details for her clothes, and it was actually very exciting because it was a very deep red, so I had to mix like a bit of black, and I don't really like mixing black that much, but then I did mix like a darker tone of red with a lighter tone of red, and I mixed afterwards. I took dark sepia and I added in there for the darker tone, so it didn't so it wasn't so dark, and I just went with it, so it didn't get so hectic and just went all over the place. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. From here on, I will speed up the video a bit more, and I'll let you guys watch the rest of the video, and please don't forget to support the channel, and let's see the end results. Leave your comments down below, leave questions you guys want to know, and on the next drawing I will be super glad to answer all of your questions. So I will see you guys on the next one, and enjoy the rest of you guys.